3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. Alone and together. Music is first a personal thing, isn't it? You are alone with it. You get to know each other. With a new album, your guard's up a little bit as you listen. Will you let the music in? It either grabs a hold of your imagination and then begins to course through your body, moving your muscles. It excites you, or it lies flat and is soon forgotten. It is very rare to listen to a new album and every single song on the album pulls you in just a little bit deeper. The album becomes an experience for you and it becomes your story. You connect with the music, you connect with the lyrics. It's hard to put into words, but for me, I am transported into past relationships, past experiences, both good and bad, experiences that I want to forget, but I cannot. The music gives me perspective, and I become the center figure in the song. I become the hero. That's good music. But I can do that to you. And when this connection happens with an album or a song, you want to share it. You put it on in your car with your best friend or at a party with all of your friends. You are sharing something that has affected you personally, and you hope that when you share it with your friends, that your friends respond like you did. And then when they do, it becomes collectively all of yours together. I can't count how many times I've listened to a new album and every single song is as good as that. It's less than a handful of times. When I put on my headphones to listen to the tracks that Bearded Chieftains sent to me, I had no idea what to expect. This would be my first time listening to their music. And for the next hour, I was all theirs. And I was alone. The experiences that were delivered to me through their lyrics, carried on the wings of music, brought back flashes of my own similar personal experiences. And I connected with them. I connected with their music. So now we're going to be together and we're going to listen to the music together. I'm going to share it with you. Let's listen together. The Bearded Chieftains are a funk-infused indie rock band based out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The quartet met at Jones College in Ellisville as students of the music industry program there. During their time at Jones College, they recorded their debut album, The Monster Is Me. That's the album I'm referring to right now that I just fell in love with, and you will too. We're going to play good portions of the song throughout the interview today. The album, The Monster Is Me, what a great title. I almost swore there. That's how much I like it. Their music is, as they describe it, amalgamation of funk, rock, Latin, jazz, and blues with a distinct Southern flair. And just a little side note here about the Southern flair. The first song that I listened to, I thought, okay, this is a little bit, don't be offended, guys, but a little bit country. And I don't know why you would be, but for me, putting it into a certain genre. And then it opened up, the song opened up. So when I thought I knew it and I didn't know it. And then as song after song came, it just, your music really became this huge experience. I couldn't put my finger on what you are, but I know I like it. Please help me welcome the Bearded Chieftains.
What's up? What's up, yo?
Hey, so good to see all of you. We got everybody here. We got the whole band together. Chris, I'm going to let you introduce your bandmates. Chris is guitar, lead vocals, and he plays sax. Chris, take it away. Introduce the guys.
Absolutely. So The blonde, dashing gentleman you see, that's Jocko. His name is Jacob Moore. We call him Jocko because he's a great bass player, and we're very lucky to have him. Over on the couch in the Purple Championship is my cousin RJ. He plays guitar and does backing vocals. And we actually didn't really know that we were related until we met in the program at Jones. And then next to him is Zach Gregory, phenomenal drummer, phenomenal man. And I'm Chris Hartfield, and I'm the front man. I write the lyrics.
Some great lyrics, Chris. Really great lyrics. I like I said in the intro there, I connected with them. So I grew up all over the place, but I went to high school up in Priest River, Idaho, which is like right up at the top near Canada. Little small town, and all we would do for entertainment as teenagers, we would drive. You get a case of beer. I'm sorry, we got a case of beer in the car, and we would drive from like the one gas station at one end of the town to the next, and everybody just drove by around and around in a loop, and we listened to really good music. And when I started listening to your album and the lyrics, it brought back, like, those were pretty good times, though. When you're just discovering music and kind of discovering everything else about life, a little bit of freedom. You got a car for the first time and you're cruising. That it just really brought back those memories, and I thank you for that, because it was a good listen.
You're very welcome.
Okay, let me get off my lawn is another great title, number one. It's the single that we are going to debut here at the end of the show. And in fact, I liked your music so much, guys, in the podcast. So you're listening to this on the radio, you got to go to the podcast site, and there's a bonus track. We're going to play We. The song title is We. And so we're playing 2 back-to-back full songs at the end of the show. You only get to hear We, though, in the podcast. So you're going to want to go there and check it out and get the rest of the music. Get Off My Lawn, though, is our Jeremiah Show world premiere on the radio. Never been released as a single, you say, Chris. And the song is actually how the band got together. So tell me that story. That sounds pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so I met Zach and RJ through jazz band, and I invited them to come track on this song.
Hold on.
I had absolutely.
We're getting you twice.
Getting an echo.
Is that better?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we wound up meeting in jazz band, and we
right. Okay. Let's do you need him to start from the top on that story?
Yeah, go ahead and start from the top with that story. Mark it here.
We'll clean it up.
Not a problem. So we actually all met via jazz band. We were all in jazz band together, and we wound up. I asked Zach to track on the song, and RJ had some mics I needed. So I said, come lay some lead down. And at the end of the session, they were both like, hey, you have anything else? And I said, yeah, I'm actually sitting on several songs. We hit the gas pedal and we didn't let up.
So you met at a jazz band, and I was thinking about when you put a band together. I've never done that, right? But when you put a band together, the 4 guys, 4 of you come together, you decide we're gonna create Bearded Chieftains. We're gonna create a band together. We're gonna create music together. That must be a very special moment when you choose each person that's going to join the band. Can you tell me, Chris, how that came together? Can you put it into words? I mean, did you listen to Jocko, or did you listen to RJ playing guitar, Zach on the drums? I mean, is there like this magical experience where you're watching these guys and you're like, I gotta play with them. I gotta create music with these guys. How does that happen?
Well,
happen for you?
Absolutely. So when I played with RJ and Zach, it was easy to see we had chemistry. I actually got exposed to Jocko because RJ in one of the first year classes said, "There's this wicked sick bass player. You have to hear him." And so he played the track for me, and I was like, "Wow." And our instructor, who is a very tenured member of the music industry, said, "Yeah, I'd hire that guy." And coming from him, that was a huge compliment. So I actually cornered Jocko. He was late to class one day, and I said, "How do you feel about a funky indie project?" He said, "Yeah." And I just remember at that point feeling some completion and just like, all right, this is going to be a good thing.
Because the three of you were before Jocko, the three of you were already together as a band. You'd already decided to create Bearded Chieftains.
Somewhat. I laid down the bass tracks on the first few songs. And then when we brought Jocko in, we said, all right, dude, you have carte blanche. Do you think?
Jocko, from your perspective, describe that experience when you were late to class, I guess Chris says, and Chris approaches you. What went through your mind there?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, unfortunately, it wasn't out of the ordinary. I was late to about every class. But it was jarring. I was just running in the class. I was pretty late that day, I think. I was like 10, 15 minutes late to a class of like, I don't know, it's a small class, 10 people. And he just stopped me outside and asked if I would be interested in playing with him. And yeah, I was excited. I'd been looking for a group to play with. And then I heard their music and I was like, automatically definitely down. And especially so after hearing them play. They're probably the best musicians I've ever worked with. They're just all very, very talented at what they do. But yeah, no, I was in pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like it. I mean, which I kind of imagine that's the way it happens when you just all know. When you know, right? You know that you fit together and that these are guys you want to, go into this very, very hard career-wise, lifestyle, of touring and being out late and then creating great music together, and having these great adventures, but also connection, right? Connecting the musicians, the music and the lyrics, and then connecting with your fans and the listeners. I like that you were all that you studied jazz. I think that's really a foundation for a unique foundation for a band. Did jazz play a part of, I guess the building and the foundation of your songs on this album in some way?
Absolutely. Chord structures, rhythmic, harmonic structure, all of that. We don't play with a lot of just open, quote unquote, cowboy chords. And jazz is to blame for that.
I was also really happy when I heard the horn come in. I wasn't expecting it. I forget which song it was, but on We, yeah, the sax in there. I mean, it's just beautiful. Yeah, and again, that We is a bonus track we're going to play just in the podcast only, so check it out there. Bearded Chieftains, the band's name. I gotta ask. Where did that come from?
Zach, you want to take this one?
All right. So it's it sounds like a pretty unique name, but what's the word I'm looking for? The foundation of coming up with the name is kind of ridiculous because it was based off of observation only. One, because of my tattoo, and they asked me, they said, okay, well, what handwriting is that? I was like, it's Norse. So pretty Scandinavian. I was like, yeah. And then we all got in a 5-minute conversation about, oh yeah, well, I also have Scandinavian blood in me. And just kept going around the table. And then Chris is like, hey, did y'all notice we all have facial hair? Not a little bit of facial hair, but just a mass on your face.
Bearded.
He said, what about Bearded Chieftains? And I immediately thought it was stupid. But as time went on, it just kind of grew on me, just like facial hair, which is a pretty bad analogy, but you get the gist of how it is.
Now, is there an end to the growing or the allowing of the growing of the facial hair? You guys just got to keep going, let it
All
go.
right, so Jocko gets carte blanche shaving privileges because
I shave pretty
his 5
regularly.
o'clock shadow is literally a full beard for anyone else. So he can shave, and before a show, it's back.
Well, that's I guess, is that a good thing or a bad thing, Jocko?
I used to think it was cool, you know, when I was in high school and I was getting facial hair very quickly,
He's loved it.
but it's too much to keep up with at this point. I mean, it's literally days and it's like, oh yeah, it's back.
Okay, let's talk about music. One of my favorite topics to talk about, although I never can seem to define music, which is also very cool that you can't define it. Means different things to different people at different times of the day for you sometimes. But I want to go around to each one of you to answer this question for me and think about it. There must have been a point in each of your lives when you made the decision to make your life all about music. In other words, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to study. This is what I'm going to master. And now to the point where now I'm in a band. It was, I imagine that it would be a very personal moment for each of you. And that's what I want to hear about. Tell me about that moment. Do you remember, looking in the mirror, shaving once again because you had the dark shadow coming in, Jocko, and you just said, this is it owns me, it controls me, this is what I'm going to do. Who wants to start? Chris, how about you?
So I've been in a lot of bands, and of course when you're 22 and in a band, you think this is it, this is going to be it. And the bands that I was in at 22, it wasn't it. So I am almost 20 years these guys senior. And so when we played the first show, I finally had closure. Like, this is what I've wanted for so long. And I just remember thinking, do or die. This is, if this doesn't work, I'm out. I'll play solo shows.
Hold on for a second. Pause that thought. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. So when you saw the guys when you were playing, were you guys all playing together for the first time, and it just you looked around and said,
yeah, I just knew.
I know this is it.
Absolutely. That was I the unspoken words from our eyes to each other's eyes, and just this almost telepathy that you get when you find chemistry with a band. It was surreal.
Very cool. So that's when but going back to like, how old were you when you said, I'm, you tried band after band after band, as you say, and then finally found your guys and found your chemistry and found, your musical equivalents. Before, how old were you? What, was there a moment? Did you just love music all your life, or
Yes,
that moment where you said, I'm gonna try?
My cousin Mike, who actually wrote "Hold On to Yourself," he is the reason I got started playing guitar. I heard him play, and I said, I want to do that. I want to be that. And I've been looking for a group of cohorts that would allow me to do that, and I finally found it.
Now, did you reference "Hold On to Yourself"? Was that the song that you just referenced?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what great coincidence here. We're going to actually take you to break here with the very first song that we're playing for you from the Bearded Chieftains. It is "Hold On to Yourself," and so you're going to hear that right now. Do you want to set that up at all, Chris? Any more than for the listener?
Hold On to Yourself is kind of about the woes of living in a small town where everybody knows your business. And feeling like you can't escape that. But it's set to a very light-hearted kind of a lilt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the irony is sweet.
Priest River, Idaho. All right, so here we go. We're gonna come right back, and then I'm gonna keep going with that question around you guys don't get off the hook that easy. I want to hear about about when you discovered music and decided, hey, this is gonna be my life. Here is Hold On to Yourself by the Bearded Chieftains. We'll be right back.
Excellent.
I don't know what's going on with my green screen either. We're all having technical difficulties here.
This podcast is doomed.
Oh no, I think
like that look. I don't know what it is about it, but I like
It's kind of cool, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I also thought it was intentional. Like I really do like it.
I just wish I could figure out why we have latency.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish, and I know you worked very hard to get everything set nicely there, Chris. I'm sorry but we're getting a great
Oh yeah.
we're getting a great interview here so
Yeah.
far, I think. I
Look
hope.
at the kitty.
I'm ready
Yeah.
to roll. Whatever
All right, ready to go?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me open up hold on one second. I want to do a promo here for these guys.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Here we go. 3, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We're with the Bearded Chieftains. The album is The Monster Is Me. The new single, Get Off My Lawn, will be premiered here at the end of the show. And I just want to say again, I love the music so much off this album. Every single song, back to back to back to back. I never say that, and I'm not blowing any smoke here. I really love this album. The Monster Is Me. It's a debut album, again by the Bearded Chieftains. Chris is on guitar, lead vocals, and sax. RJ is on guitar and backing vocals. Jacob, bass, and Zach on drums. You can find them on social media at Bearded Chieftains Band on Facebook, on Instagram at Bearded Chieftains, on Twitter at BChief23. And I encourage you to go to Bandcamp. I ask all the musicians here, where's the place that they can buy, that the listener can buy your album, and where you, the band members, get the most money. They all tell me Bandcamp. You get, I don't know, 73% or some figure like that. You get a big portion of that. So go to Bandcamp. Bearded Chieftains is on Bandcamp at bandcamp.com. Welcome back, guys. Good album. Good music you guys put together. And I'm so happy that all of you decided to go into a life in music, and even happier that you all found each other. So we were talking, Chris just explained, the moment that he discovered that the music owned him and was going to become his life, his life in music. And then I want to go around the room. Jocko, do you want to go next? Do you remember that moment? Was it special for you?
Yeah. So I had been in a band in high school. It was pretty good. It was like prog rock. It was fun. But I never really thought about pursuing music seriously. And then right before college, I was in a blues band that started the summer before. And after that summer, I still felt the same way. I started college, going into physics. And I want to say about halfway through my third semester there, I just realized it just was not for me. And I went and I sat in my car and I really thought about what I want to do for my life, and just realized that even if it, doesn't have a great chance of working out, I'd rather try it and have it fail than regret it later. So I decided that was it for me. I was just going to try music, give it everything I had.
I love that story. Really great. I would imagine it's, you remember maybe the first time you had a crush on someone, or you fell in love with someone. I imagine that falling in love with music that way and making it your life, maybe I'm romanticizing it a little bit, but that's what it feels like it should be. It must be for you guys. It's a really, really special career. And I that's why I do this show. I love the connecting with musicians and playing their music, and it's one of the best. It is, to me, the best thing in life. RJ, how about you?
Well, I've been playing in marching band since 6th grade, and around the time when I was 16, I learned like 2 songs on guitar and did open mics and stuff. And then my good friend Chad Knight from the Night Butcher came up to me and asked me if I wanted a gig. Said, "You have 3 hours worth of material and a couple originals," and I said yes. I did not have that, so I spent the month before the gig learning all these songs. I was like, I can really do this. So I've just been doing it ever since.
What was that experience like when you said, I can do this? When you realized I can do this, I can,
It was the like best feeling in the world. Like knowing that you can do something that's like not a 9 to 5, and it's makes people happy. People enjoy it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Zach, how about you? On
All
drum.
right. So my story started at the bright young age of 3 years old. And my father was a drummer. And the way it happened was I remember I was in my living room with the rest of my family, my mom and my 3 sisters. We had this big TV and we were playing this DVD from Kiss Symphony. If you're not familiar with the band Kiss, which I'm sure you are, they've been rocking out since the 70s and ever since. Legendary rock band. And my dad had this huge white Pearl Export drum set. And he sat me on it, and the movie was playing, or the concert was playing. And the rest of my family had flashlights going around the room like they were stage lights. And ever since then, I had the itch. I was being fed it through all the concerts and shows that I watched on TV. And I remember in school, growing up, the teacher would go around the room asking everybody what they want to be when they grow up. And my answer was always the same, saying that I wanted to be a rock star. And everybody without fail always laughed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did others? I mean, that's actually pretty lofty for a young kid to say that, right? I've heard, astronaut, doctor, fireman, all that over and over, cowboy as a young kid, but not a rock star. That's awesome.
Yep. Ever since then, I just kept working at it. High school and college on drumline, working rudiments, jazz band, expanding my genres and my knowledge and percussion. And just got to a point where I just kept looking for bands. And then I stumbled upon Chris, who was kind of scared to talk to me at first because I have a thing called an RBF, which is a resting B word face. I can't say the real thing on radio. But finally, he did. And here we are now. I mean, I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be with these guys.
Yeah, I think so. Chris, it was Zach says, is that true? Did he have were you scared to approach him? Was he?
So it wasn't all right. It wasn't fear. Zach and I both have very alpha personalities, and the energy that he gave off, I was just like, I don't know if he and I are gonna gel. And then when we started playing together in jazz band, I was like, I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'll be the beta, and it turns out that he's actually one of the most sweet, nice, genuine people in the world, and just is misunderstood. And as someone with autism, I feel that. So there was a little reticence to talk to him for sure.
I was unaware that you had autism. Does autism help in creating music and producing music?
It does.
Seems like
I think of everything as math. Also, I have perfect pitch, which is one of the common side effects of autism. So when we're thinking about progressions, I just look at Jocko and I say, all right, here's the key. 1, 6, 5, 4, flat 7, subdominant, whatever. And he speaks that language so well. It's very refreshing.
Zach, could you put into words? I think about drums quite a bit when I think of creating music, and I think, how do the other band members I can see how the guitars and strings and all that can come in and maybe it might, I don't want to say obvious. It's not obvious when you create a song, but the drums, how do you decide how to, and I don't even know if this can be put in words. How do you decide how to bring in the percussions, bring in the drums and match what the other guys are doing, match the vocals, is there a science to that? Or is that just do you go by feeling? How does that work?
Okay. So this is kind of where the education side comes in from all my professors and instructors about expanding genres. And the reason I did that is because, I mean, I want to do this for a living, so I need to know the correct thing to play and to create that gives the song justice. Because you don't want a song to be all drums. Like, you can't stop paying attention to drums because there's more things going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I try to be as unique in myself as possible and putting myself in the music, but at the same time giving the song what it needs to breathe. So
that makes sense. I like that. Every movie you see about a rock star, a band, you see that they always kind of make fun of the drummer goes off on a drum solo. And everybody kind of goes, okay, is that, and then you think of Ringo and the Beatles, and it seems like the drummers never get enough credit. But they've got a drum solo in them. You have a drum solo in you?
Dude, you don't understand how many solos I have in me. But it's all about timing. Yeah. You got to put it in the right place. Right. We'll do that in a couple of songs that we have. I'll have a little something. Still waiting on a full solo for a show. But not all drummers are dumb, like the movie makes out. I
didn't say that.
Everyone implies it.
I'm partners with a drummer, a very famous drummer, Mick Fleetwood, in a restaurant in Maui. And so I bow down to drum, and I love the drums. So it's one of my favorite part of any song. No, I wouldn't say that at all. RJ, you're not off the hook. We're going to come back with you. Why don't you tell us, though, going to break, we came back and I've into this segment with The Monster Is Me, I guess the name of the album is The Monster in Me. And again, that's another really, really great song. Do we have time to get an explanation of The Monster Is Me? Let's do it on the other side of the break. I have a feeling that's a good story. We're going to go out right now with Gone. And Zach, do you want to tell us, since we're talking to you right now, and do you want to finish the segment up and tell us a little bit about Gone?
Yeah, I got you. So really what we were looking for, it's kind of along the same lines as Hold On to Yourself. So, I mean, Gone is a pretty big word if you think about it, which sounds so stupid, but in the context of the song, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it is a big word. I mean, it can mean so many things, and it's usually pretty heavy, right? I mean, when you realize your lover is gone, that your friend is gone, so you've lost someone, and they're gone. A big word.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, here it is, Gone. We'll be right back with the Bearded Chieftains. The Bearded Chieftains are Chris on guitar, lead vocals and sax, RJ, who's on guitar and backing vocals, Jacob on bass, and Zach on drums. The album is The Monster Is Me. While we take this commercial break and you listen to Gone, I want you to go to the Bearded Chieftains on Bandcamp and buy the album, or follow them on all of the socials. They're on Instagram at Bearded Chieftains and Facebook at Bearded Chieftains Band. We'll be right back. Cool. All right.
Do we have time for a small break?
Sure.
All right. I've got to run real quick.
How far are you going to run? How many miles?
Don't trip.
God damn. Not very far, apparently.
Nope, I died. He's about to piss himself.
right. Yeah, that's right. There's beer in that cooler, by the way.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I love it. I
Feel
love
like water down here, man.
it. It's like I love
Either sweet CE or Bud Light.
I'm not huge on the sweet tea.
That's because you're not from the South.
it. Bud Light for me, man. I tell you
He's
what.
he's from New Orleans, RJ.
That don't count.
Tell you what.
That might as well be New York.
You know what the best part about the YouTube interview is that when we go to commercial break, there's all this good stuff in the breaks
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that nobody can hear in the radio show.
That's right.
I always
There
tell
you
people there's some pretty funny stuff in the breaks
go. There
usually.
is indeed. Oh, by the way,
Everybody relaxes, but the camera's still on them. They forget.
I have a Yeti cooler that's propane powered. Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I actually hate King of the Hill.
Why?
I know why I'm with you.
Everybody
never
does the
watched it.
impersonation down here, and some of them aren't even trying to.
All right. How about this one? Giggity, giggity.
That's just global.
That's,
That is. That's international.
With Family Guy?
And they're talking about I sell propane and propane accessories.
Right.
Propane, Bobby.
Bobby, what the hell?
With
are
it.
you doing?
Jeremiah.
What the hell, Bobby?
Yo,
Oh,
speaking of being country, the reason I'm in this place right now is because I'm babysitting goats. There's like 6 goats here. That's what I'm doing.
Are they in the room with you?
Where are they?
Oh no, they're like 2 rooms away.
2 rooms away. Okay, well, that's good.
They're actually
Look.
in the house.
there's a certain
what?
degree of quintessential Mississippi in this band. I have chickens in my yard.
I'm gonna
There you
actually
go.
ask you. That's one of my questions about. Save that.
All right.
We'll come back and do it on air.
All right.
That
Here,
was-
this is 3 of 4. These need to be somewhat short, so we get out within the hour. As far as the timing,
Okay.
okay, we're fine on time on the clock.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Wait a minute. You can leave that in if you want. Wait, so are you saying that I need to just maybe do one question, take a
No,
break?
no. You've got about 5-6 minutes thereabouts, and then we need to take a break, and then we do a wrap up. Actually, you go a little longer than maybe 7 or 8 minutes
On this section?
on this section.
Okay.
Take a break, and then we need to kind of wrap things up so that we keep this podcast within the hour,
Gotcha.
within an hour, I should say. 3.
Yeah, we want to make sure everything goes on radio as
That's
much as
correct.
possible.
Exactly. 3, 2, 1.
Bearded Chieftains are my special guests on the Jeremiah Show. Right now, they're in Mississippi in various locations. One of them may or may not include wildlife. The album is The Monster in Me. We're coming back from break. The boys in the band just refilled their Lynchburg lemonades and their sweet tea there, and their nice cold
All right.
Bud Lights. Hey guys, what does Mississippi look like out the window right now? Is it cold? Is it snowy?
Pretty hot.
Grass.
It's freezing.
It's really kind of freaking hot.
Wait, it's freezing or it's hot?
Well,
It changes so fast.
If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
One of those places, huh?
You think I'm joking?
It was raining yesterday.
I am Jewish and my sinuses hate this place.
I don't know what to do with that statement. I didn't realize that Jewish sinuses were different than anyone else's. Explained.
They're susceptible to allergens. Yeah.
Okay, got it. RJ, tell us about. We're still on that one question, man, and I got 30 more, and we don't have much time left, so we're gonna have to rapid fire these babies. But I do want to hear about, and don't want to leave you out on. When did you know
When did I know?
that about that music was going to be your life? Was there a pivotal moment? Was there like an aha moment? Did the light come down from the heavens and blind you, and you said, "I am your rock god. Take me."
It was probably the first time I played in the jazz band at Jones and took a solo. And it just was a crazy feeling being on stage, making up stuff on the spot, and it just works out and sounds good.
Chris, you am I right to say that you put everybody together? You kind of approached everyone and put the band
To,
together. I
to a
mean,
degree, I would be the adhesive.
okay. Yeah. And I want to say that delicately because I know, you guys are rock stars and egos get, I don't want you all throwing beer cans at each other when we hang up here, but
None of us have issues with that. We all RJ when we first got together, and he started playing a line, and it was in music terms an ostinato, which is a repeated theme that occurs throughout the song. And I said, "Thank you for not getting bored." And he said, "Man, I'm a servant to the song." One of the most profound things I've ever heard.
it is. And that's why I'm letting it sit there for a minute to sink in. I love it. I also love the name. Did you say Ostinato?
Ostinato.
Ostinato. That could be a great band name too. I haven't seen that one.
Right.
Chris, so tell me then, I don't know how much you compliment each other, but you guys seem like you really gel well and that you all have a mutual respect. If you could, though, tell me what each band member brings to the band in terms of inspiration and spirit.
Absolutely. What Jocko brings is literally the circulatory system of the band. He plays grooves. Half of our songs, how they're written, is I step out to smoke or to take a phone call or something of that nature, and Jocko starts playing this just nasty, funky bass line. And I come back in, and I've already thought of a lyrical concept or a harmonic structure behind it. And also just the low-key energy that he brings. Just, you don't notice it right off until we get 3-4 songs into the set. And then you see Jocko just doing his Jocko thing. And all the people in the audience are pointing at his fingers. It looks like tarantulas crawling on the fretboards. It's amazing.
I imagine it is.
Now, as far as Zach, raw energy and rhythmic precision. We never have to worry about tempo with this guy. I've played with a lot of drummers, and I can say he doesn't rush, he doesn't drag, and the feel is always there. Always. RJ is the showstopper. RJ plays guitar like somebody that's 58 years old and was raised in a shotgun house in the Mississippi Delta. Just so much emotion, so much stank. And he's only 21 years old. This kid is so good. I've been playing guitar as long as he's been alive. And he's better than me. Thank you. And look, I don't say that lightly. I mean, the kid is good. And people they're drawn to him once they see, because he's so unassuming. You wouldn't look at RJ and think he is the badass musician he is, but he is, and it's beautiful.
One of the greats. Keep your eye on him and your ear. Keep your ear on him. But what a beautiful tribute to all your guys there in the band, all your bandmates. I love it. You can feel the love. You can feel even more that you guys are harmonious and that you are in sync and that you're really enjoying what you're doing. We've been listening to the music throughout the show here. We're going to go, we came back with Nameless, and we're going to go out with Stockholm. Now that's a single that off air is a little bit long, but I never noticed it was long until Chris pointed it out, because I just enjoyed it all the way through. And I actually got caught up in the storytelling and the story of this girl, if I've got it right. And if I don't, that's the great thing about music, is that we each take our own interpretation. So I never want to ask you to describe it too much, because I want the listener to be able to take your music and make it their own. But is there a story here with Stockholm that you can share?
Absolutely. So there was a girl that I worked with, a very nice girl, a young mother, that was trapped in a very, very abusive relationship. Couldn't find her way out. And would approach her and say, "Hey, you got to leave. You got to get out of here." And it always revolved back around to, "This is all I know. This is what I know. This is the comfort. And that's the chorus of the song. You know, it says, from the inside looking out, Stockholm ain't that bad.
Mm. That's yeah, it's a good, you know, when you can tell a story in a song and you don't feel like you're listening to, you know, it's not being preached at, it's just, it becomes, you get it and you kind of get pulled in. Love it. And we're going to play it right now, Stockholm. The girl, don't mention her name, but did you ever share the song with her and how you viewed her life and how you made, you saw the beauty in her life and created this
I
beautiful.
told her about the song, but she doesn't know what it is, because I don't want it to be a trigger for her. Because when you listen to the lyrics of that song, they are very specific to her, and I don't want that to hurt her in any way.
I don't,
But
yeah, I can see that concern for her, being protective. But you know what I would feel, what I felt like with that is that it was almost a release, and I'm not that girl, but it felt to me like there was a release, there was a light at the end of the tunnel there of the, you know, that there was some beauty in the life that you,
and there it is.
yeah. Okay, the Bearded Chieftains album is The Monster Is Me. The new single is coming up in our next segment, Get Off My Lawn. Social media, find them on Facebook, Bearded Chieftains Band, on Instagram at Bearded Chieftains, on Twitter at BChief23, and pick up their album, buy the singles as they drop on Bearded Chieftains at bandcamp.com. Here is Stockholm. Okay, so we got what?
This is the wrap up.
Okay, guys, so we got the wrap up, which is probably 5 minutes or less.
We'll go with less.
Less. Okay. So, of course, I never get through all my questions for you. But I think, is there anything that we haven't covered here that you'd like me to bring up? Or, you know, I was going to ask you about if you're touring. I really wanted to ask about how the town influences, you know, your hometown there. Are you guys all from Haddington?
No, we're not all from Hattiesburg.
So then maybe that won't work because that would be too long. Anything though that I'm missing here? And then I'm going to turn it over to you. So I'm just going to set you up with one question you could answer, and then I'm going to let each one of you, you know, thank the school, thank, you know, anybody in your life, and then talk to your fans.
Very good. Very good. Okay. And 3,
2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We're spending the hour too quickly with the Bearded Chieftains. Their debut album is out. Actually, you're dropping singles slowly, right? I don't think everything's out. The Monster Is Me, or is it?
Well, so we actually released 3 singles.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we released the full album in October.
Okay. Of last year. So it is out. Okay,
Yes.
great. So you pick it up. The Monster Is Me. Again, I'm going to say here, we've done 550 shows nearly here, most of them musicians, and I can't recall. It's honestly a handful where I go, that song's great. That's every song on the album, one after another, is great. So you definitely want to add this to your library there. With
that means so much, really. It does.
It's true. It's very true. And so yeah, it's a debut album, which is just incredible. And I can't wait to see more from you. All right. So I'm going to shut up here. I had more questions, but you guys will come back, I hope. And every time you want to release something, this is your home on the West Coast and around the world on the Jeremiah Show. Why don't each one of you take a final word, thank anybody you'd like, and talk to your fans. Chris,
Jocko, you want to go?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so just real quick in regards to what you're saying about this being our debut album, I will say we have a second one, I think, completely written already, almost all the way recorded. Hoping to release it some point soon, I think. But yeah, in terms of anyone who listens to our music, thank you. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. And thank y'all for having us, for real.
Yes.
Anytime. Come back anytime. Who's going next?
I want to thank all of our professors and mentors that helped us along the way and told us how to get to where we're at.
Thank you for, I was going to bring the school up and we didn't get to it. So thank you for mentioning that. It's very cool. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Man, I like to thank all of our families, all of our mentors, our professors, schools. I thank the rest of these guys. I thank our fans, listen to our stuff. Thank you guys for having us. Me personally, I'm religious, so I got to thank my Father in heaven for making all this possible.
And Chris,
Well,
do me a favor. Also set up the song before you say goodbye. We're about to hear "Get Off My Lawn," that single.
I want to thank these young guys for bearing with my old self and singing and playing about things that they don't understand. The next song you're going to hear is called "Get Off My Lawn," and it's about aging graciously and being okay with it. So I want to thank all of our families, Matt McGuffey, Ben Burge, Lindsay Kay, Josh Franz, all of those are professors of ours at Jones. I want to thank Mike Blunt for giving us Hold On to Yourself. And I want to thank everybody that's pushed us and prodded us along. And we can't wait to be back.
We can't wait to hear the new album, but I don't want this one to go away too quickly. I want to enjoy this and savor it a little bit more. And I know you will as well. The album is The Monster in Me, Bearded Chieftains. Go find it. And now, without any further ado, here is, that's an old statement too there, right, Chris? You get that one?
Right.
Get Off My Lawn. Enjoy and go to the podcast to hear the single "We," which is also just really great, but you can only hear it on the podcast. Thank you so much, guys. Communicate, but listen more and evolve.
We're clear. Great.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Awesome. So,
Guys,
really